Dr. Anthony Yoon, America's holistic plastic surgeon, back with you today. And today I'm going to go over what I believe is the best new cosmetic treatment today. And that's a pretty big thing when you talk. I'm a board certified plastic surgeon that does all sorts of cosmetic treatments every day. So what is the best new cosmetic treatment today? Well, I believe it is the Gold Filtox Facial. This is a new treatment that's being performed all across the country. We've been doing it in my office for several months, and patients are loving it, and we're seeing great changes from it. It's minimally invasive. You can get some immediate changes as well as fairly long-term changes, and it's not horribly expensive. So what is the Gold Filtox Facial? Well, the Gold Filtox Facial basically combines gold tip microneedling with very superficial injections of Botox, hyaluronic acid, and growth factors and peptides. So what the heck does that mean? All right, well, let's start off with gold tip microneedling. If you've been following cosmetic medicine, you probably have heard of microneedling. And microneedling is a very simple treatment. It started off with these little rollers that people would use to roll the surface of their skin. And these little rollers had tiny little pins that would go into the skin, 1/10 to 2/10 of a millimeter. Tiny little pins. And by creating these tiny little punctures into the skin, it caused the skin and the collagen to rejuvenate itself. Well, we found as medical professionals that this does work. And so we started doing it in our offices. But instead of using these rollers with the tiny little pins, we started being more aggressive. And in our offices, dermatologists and plastic surgeons, all day, some of them are performing micro needling, utilizing these devices that will needle the skin and puncture the skin much deeper than the little rollers can do. By creating deeper punctures into the skin, you can get more aggressive rejuvenation and thickening of that collagen. So, what is the difference between that and gold tip microneedling? Well, gold tip microneedling utilizes, instead of these little pins, these little needles, they're hollow. They're not solid like in traditional microneedling, they are hollow. And these hollow gold needles that we use allow us to then inject very superficially different products into the skin. Now, traditional microneedling, once again, were solid needles. You'd make the little punctures, and some people would apply PRP, platelet-rich plasma, over the surface of the skin. Some people would apply just plain blood. Others would apply growth factors like Tensage. And it's still being done a lot, but this new generation of microneedling then creates these hollow needles, uses these hollow needles to create these puncture wounds, and what then we can do is inject through those hollow needles these substances actually into the surface of the skin. So the first thing that we inject is Botox. Botox, all right, well, we inject this into the muscles, and by injecting Botox into the muscles of the face, we can temporarily weaken those muscles to reduce wrinkles. But what happens when you inject it very superficially using microneedles, like the gold microneedling? Well, what you can get is you can get improvement in the size of the pores, you can get reduction in sweating, and it overall just creates a smoother effect of the skin. So by utilizing Botox in the Gold Filtox Facial, we can get some really nice changes. Well, what we also use is a hyaluronic acid filler, one like Restylane, okay? And everybody who does these treatments uses their own kind of combination, their proprietary combination of Botox and filler, once again, Restylane being a very common one. And what that does is it helps to plump the skin and hydrate the skin. Hyaluronic acid is a naturally occurring moisturizer of the skin, and when you inject it very superficially utilizing these gold microneedles, you can get this superficial plumping up of the skin that can help improve fine lines and really helps to just smooth that surface out. So it's this great kind of smoothing and hydrating that we can get from addition of that filler utilizing the gold microneedles. And finally, we can add peptides and growth factors. Peptides and growth factors are traditionally applied to the surface of the skin in traditional microneedling, like I described a few minutes ago. But when we do it with the gold microneedling with the hollow needles, now we can get those peptides and growth factors actually injected into that superficial layer of skin. So we know that it gets there and it creates the anti-aging effects that we're looking for. And that's what we combine in the Gold Filtox Facial. We get the microneedling, so you get that controlled trauma that helps the collagen to tighten and to reform in better bundles. We get the Botox effects, we get the hyaluronic acid effects, and we get the peptides and growth factor effects. It's a lot that you can get in literally a 20-minute treatment. So that's my number one, the hottest and the top new cosmetic treatment today. If you're interested in learning more about different cosmetic treatments, check out this next video right here. I'm Dr. Anthony Youn, America's Holistic Plastic Surgeon.